Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back. We are going to start off our online Pali reading class, day 78. So before we get started, shall we pay respect to the Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. As we continue our Pali readings, as you know that we have been now on almost like more than 50 over stanzas from Dhammapada. And then last Thursday, we covered about fragrance. This is kind of a metaphorical fragrance or scent of virtuous people. When you are a good person, when you are a Sila person, it is said that you emanate, discharge a metaphorical fragrance. That means it's not the physical fragrance. So today, again, there is another aspect of similar kind of fragrance with regard to somebody who is virtuous, who is moral, who is wholesome. Let's take a look at the stanza, and then I'll be asking you to read and you want groups. Verse stanza 56. Appamatu ayang gandhu yayang tagara chandani yocha silavata gandhu vati devesu uttama. Once again, appamatu ayang gandhu yayang tagara chandani yocha silavatang gandhu vati devesu uttama. Okay, so I'll be asking groups to read. First of all, group 1. Please raise your virtual hand. Okay. Yes, Pauline, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Appamato ayang gando, yayang tagara chandani, yocha sila wattam gando, wati devisu uttamo.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And group 2. Someone from group 2. Okay, there are 2. So who would like to read? Susan or Seri?
Thank you, Bhante. Appamato ayam gandho yayam tagara chandani silavatam gandho vati deve su uttamo.
The third line, please.
Appamato ayam gandho yayam tagara chandani silavatam gandho.
There is a preposition missing here. Yocha silavatang gandhu.
Silavatam.
Yocha silavatang gandhu.
Oh, sorry, Bhante, I've missed the words. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yocha silavatam gandho vati devesu uttamo.
Yes, great.
Thank you. I apologize. Thank you.
Problem.
Thank you.
Okay, group 3. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Apa mato ayang gando, yayang tagara candani, yo che silawatang gando, wati devesu utamo.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And group O, yes. Oi, yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Apa mato ayam gando, yayam tagara candani, yoja silawatang gando, wati devesu utamo.
Said like this, Yocha.
Yoja silawatang gando,
Do you say Gando or Gando?
gando,
Gando.
gando,
Gando.
gando,
It's not D, it's do, the.
the,
Say for instance, when you say Gando, Gando means eczema. In Pali, we call eczema, the skin problem. Yes,
sorry,
Gandho. Gandho means smell.
gando, correct? Gando,
Gandho.
gando, gando.
Gandho.
Ah,
Gandho.
Okay. Yoja silawatang gando.
Gandho.
Gan
Maybe we can find out a similar
Gandho.
Pali word for that. Say, for instance, if it is, if you go to the Pali alphabet, you can see that Tata Dadana, Tata Dadana, Tata Dadana. Say, for instance, let's see, I think we had a document in our, perhaps in our Google Classroom, long time ago, maybe perhaps at the beginning of our class. Yeah, we may have to go back a lot. Yeah, so you can you can see that there we learn that D is D. So here it means Yoj Silabatam Gando. So we are not Gando. Gando.
Gando.
Yeah,
Correct?
Gando. Yes, that's better.
Gando.
Gando. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. And then group 5. Yes, Melinda. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante. Apa mato ayam gando, yayam tagara candani, yo che silawatam gando, vati divesu utamo.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And group 6. TC, yeah.
Thank you. Apa mato ayam gando, yayam tegara candani, yoce silawatang gando, wati divesu utamo.
Okay, great.
Thank
And
you.
group 7. Yes, Aliana, yes.
Apa mato ayam gando, yayam tagara candani, yoce silawatang gando, wati devesu uttamo.
Okay, great. And group 8. Yes, Doris, please.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apa mato ayam gando, yayam tagara candani, yoja silavatam gando, vati devesu uttamo.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. Okay, now we are going to give others the opportunity. We will start with Serene and then Lisa. Yeah, Serene, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Suki Hotu,
Yes.
Bhante.
It's okay.
Apa mato ayang gando, yayang tagara candani, yocha sila watang gando, wati devesu uttamo.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And Lisa, yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Apa mato ayam gando, yayam tagara candani, yo che silavatam gando, vati devesu utamo.
Great.
Thank you.
And see it, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bhante. Okay. Apa mato ayam ganto, yayam tagaras chandani, yoce silawatam ganto, wati jedesu utamo.
Great. And then Jenny.
Thank you.
Evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Apa mato ayang gando, yayang tagara chandani, yoce sila watang gando, wati devisu uttamo.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And Mei-Ling.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Apa mato ayang gando, yayang tagara chandani. Yocha sila watang gando, wati devisu uttamo.
Great. And
Thank you.
Pochuwang. Yes. Yes, Pochuwang, please. Yeah.
Sorry, Bhante, didn't hear
Yes.
you very clearly just now. Good evening and thank you. Okay. Apa mato ayam gando, yayan tagara chandani, yocha silawantang gando, wati devisu uttamo.
Okay, great. And
Thank
Billy.
you, Bhante.
Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apa mato ayang gando, yayang tagara chandani, yocha sila watang gando, wati devesu uttamo.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Corina.
Bhante,
Yes.
apa mato ayam gando, yayam tagara chandani, yoce silawatam gando, wati devisu uttamo.
Okay, great. And Naiching. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Apa mato ayang ganto, yayang tagara chandani, yocha sila watang ganto, vati devesu uttamo.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And Chompakla. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante. Apa mado ayam gando, yayam tagara chadani, yocha silawatam gando, wati devisu uttamo.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Margaret. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apa mato ayam gando, yayam tagara chandani. Yocha sila watam gando, wati devisu uttama.
Uttar. Wati Devi.
Wati devisu uttama. Sorry.
Uttamo.
Uttamo.
Uttamo. Yeah.
Wati devisu uttamo.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. Ing? Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes. Your first time to read.
Yes, it's my
Yes,
first
please.
time. Thank you. Apa mato ayam gando, yayam tagara chandani, yocha silawatam gando, wati devesu uttamo.
Okay, great. Yes. Is there anyone else who would like to read? Yes, Lynn, please.
Apa mato ayam gando, yayam tagara chandani, yocha sila vatam gando, wati devasu uttamo.
Okay, great. Okay, leaving the time for our discussion. Now we are going to look at the translation and then the context. Appa mattu ayang gandu yayang tagara chandani. Now, I think in our previous two stanzas, number 54, 55, we've been discussing a few more flowers, rosebay, sandalwood, jasmine. So compared to the the scent or the, what do you call, fragrance, the metaphorical fragrance of a virtuous person, the fragrance of these flowers, even rosebay and sandalwood, they are very slight, very little. And the thing is that we understood the fragrance of flowers. They normally do not go against the wind. They go with the wind. Now, when the fragrance of virtuous people, it's not a physical fragrance. It is the good name, reputation, and then discipline. When someone, through the practice of Panchasila or maybe 8 precepts or any other sila, especially Noble Eightfold Path, if the person is properly practicing, then that person is creating a very good impression among these non-human beings, such as in this case, Deva. So that means that good reputation, the feeling of good reputation touches the Deva, even Naga, even other powerful beings. So as you can see, Appa Mattu. Now what is Appa? What is Matta? Now Gandha we understand. Gandha is fragrance, right? Smell. But what is Appa? What is Matta? Slide does not exactly give the proper meaning here. Now what is the opposite of Appa? You can see here, Appa. And then the opposite is Bahu. Right? Have you found out this Pali word somewhere else? Bahu?
Many.
Many. Bahu. Where have you found out this Pali word? I think we have discussed.
Sutta.
Yeah, Mangala Sutta is one place. And where else?
Mangala Gata.
Huh? Jayamangala Gatha. Jayamangala Gatha, they were created, compiled by Thai monks, Siamese monks, and not exactly the canonical thing. Then, I mean, if you go to the third level of stanzas, we can find out Bahu in many places. Do you remember we discussed Bahu in another Pali stanza in our series? In the first Dhammapada chapter, Bahum piche sahitang bhasamano natakkaro hoti naropama. Gopo gavu ganayang parisang nabhagava samanya saroti. This is one of the, I think this is the stanza before the last stanza of the first chapter. Chapter on dichotomies, chapter on twin verses. The Buddha says there may be somebody who is talking Dhamma a lot, always talk about the Dhamma. When they go to eat also they talk about Dhamma. Sleep also they talk about Dhamma. When they drive also they talk about Dhamma. But the problem is, just because somebody talks about Dhamma, it does not guarantee the person has been able to put that Dhamma knowledge into the daily life practice. Right? And the Buddha is trying to say that kind of a person is similar to a cowherd. At that time, this was a certain job. I mean, there were people who were asked to count the cows by the end of the day. So the owner of the cows is giving a job to somebody. Can you please count all the cattle and then make sure that they came back to the ranch? So then the Buddha is saying that if somebody is only teaching, but there is no single bit of practice, that person is similar to a cowherd. Actually, not a cowherd. A cowherd, not in the perspective of the owner of the cows, a cowherd who is counting other people's cows. So don't become a cowherd of counting other people's cows. Count your own cows. It's better, you know. You feel good about it. I have cows at the very least. So we need to count our own cows, not other people's cows. It doesn't mean that we have to have a cattle or maybe a bunch of cows. It means that this Dhamma, although we learn as a group here, maybe in other places you learn, finally it must have taken effect in our life. How to make it to that level? Being able to understand the Dhamma in my daily life, in your daily life. That is the desideratum. That is the, the real perspective, real purpose of all these activities. Otherwise, you may go and learn a lot of Dhamma things, like a college student, uni students goes to university. And then once they get the degree, they forget about everything. They only carry what they want to learn with regard to the job, right? So now we learn this Pali word already. Bahu, bahumpi. Bahu means many. The unaccountable version can be much, many and much. Countable version is many and unaccountable is much. So here, now, appa bahu. Then matto, appa means little. Now we know the fragrance is little of these flowers, but we are going to understand in a Pali word. So appa means a little, but matta, what does matta mean in Pali? Matta. Have you ever found out this word? Not metta, okay? If you put E, it will become metta.
Measure. Measure.
Matta means?
Measure. A measure of quantity.
Yeah, a dosage. Dosage, quantity, right? Matta means that. Have you found out this Pali word in some other places too? When the Buddha was asking monks and nuns, especially when he was talking about Sotapanna people, he was always saying that such people are supposed to be, what do you call, antamaso, or maybe in other words, anumad, what do you call, anumattesu vajjesu bayadasaru. It's a Pali term. Anumattesu vajjesu bayadasaru. Anu means little. So a good person who is following the Buddha is very careful even to break a slight akusala. This is the way how the Buddha is saying. Anumattesu vajjesu bayadasaru. One has to feel scared of breaking even a small mistake. Say mistake, or maybe we can say akusala action. We all make mistakes, so akusala. Anumattesu vajjesu bhayadasaru. You can see in Matta. One has to feel scared of breaking even a small akusala. Does that make us good people if you have this understanding? If you start your day from morning and you're going to end your day maybe before you sleep, if you were a person who is scared of breaking even a small, tiny, akusala, would you think that you would have been a better person than how you are now? You could be. You could be. You could have been a better. I mean, you are already a good person. I'm telling, but if we bring this anumattesu vajjesu bhayadasavi perspective, that means we would have been much wholesome people than we used to. So matta is dosage, maybe measurement, maybe sizing and all that. So here we understand upper matta, a little dosage, maybe even little amount. It's very little amount. So the fragrance, the physical fragrance of flowers, rosepay, sandalwood, you could even say jasmine, it's such a very little amount of fragrance compared to sila. But still, rosepay, jasmine, sandalwood, they are really fragrant. But compared to the repute, say for instance, somebody has a garden of flowers, sandalwood flowers, jasmine flowers, roseberry flowers. How far can the fragrance go in that area? Perhaps it's kind of a limited area that people might feel the fragrance. But what about there is such a good person in one place who is very disciplined, who is trying to become wholesome, is very compassionate, kind, and then considering other people. So this person's reputation will go everywhere in the whole universe, like the Buddha, like other such individuals, right? So we do understand now there are some other modern figures, right? Say, for instance, some are Sambuddhas, Bodhisattvas. In the last century, we have noticed a couple of very, reputed figures, like say, for instance, Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese monk who started engaged Buddhism in 1960s, wanted to come back to Vietnam, but was refused entry and went to France and started this Plum Village Monastery using Zen Buddhism and saying that 5 precepts can be put in a different way. Social. We have to look at social suffering as well. Why Buddhists always think about it is my own suffering? Why I only look at my personal suffering? Why don't I look at other people's suffering? Why we bring everything to karma? Why can't we do anything for the other person's suffering? This is important too, right? We always think that, yes, I am born here now, I will die, I will be reborn once again. Say, for instance, there is someone who is going through pain, dukkha, and then thinking that I'm going through separation, I'm going through sicknesses, I'm going through aging, maybe I'm going through grief, I'm going through rejection, denial. Then I'm perhaps self-blaming myself, overly self-critical about myself. And then why don't I think about other person's suffering too? I had to be compassionate too. That's karuna, right? So then engaged Buddhists talk about, we can do something for other people. Why we are only self-critical about our life? Actually, that is called bodhisattva. And if you go to Cambodia, we understand Mahagusananda, the monk, the famous monk. Right? In this way, we understand there are different figures that have played a different role, giving us an understanding of social suffering, personal suffering, social suffering. Rather blaming our karma, rather blaming our samsaric existence, let's do something for us and to other people. Let's help each other to come out of this dukkha. That will make us actually happy. So that's why here we need to understand not that the fragrance of flowers only circle around in a certain place, rather than if you become a good person, if you have a very large, broad idea about Buddhism, then you can help save, you can help heal many individuals, many beings in the world. Not even by being a Buddhist, might be a Christian, might be a Islamic person, might be a Jew, anybody. So anybody can play a role in making this world a better place. So such a person's reputation is going across everywhere. Suppose the person also having some certain holistic, wholesome ideas, right? So that is the idea here. And then, yocha silavatangam, we understand the fragrance of a virtuous person. Once again, I want to tell you that it does not mean that sila people emanate a certain fragrance. Don't go to certain such virtuous people and, okay, what is your smell? Tell me, I just want to smell that. There's no smell like that. They are just like you, any other being, unless they spray some, a scent or something like that. So this fragrance is a metaphorical fragrance. It means the reputation, public acceptance, a universal acceptance that you are such a good person, you're doing such a very human thing to the whole universe. We recognize you. We want to thank you for all these things, what you are doing across the universe. So this kind of fragrance as such. Now I have a question for you. You think about it at the end. Now, when you go to the vihara, shrine hall, first you are lighting candles, right? Why are you lighting candles? Right? I know the next thing will be the joss sticks. I'm leaving that room for you. Why are you lighting candles for the Buddha?
Dispel the
Does Buddha
darkness
need
of
some light?
ignorance.
Huh?
Bhante, dispel the darkness of ignorance.
Dispel the darkness of, not the Buddha's. Buddha is okay. I mean, we are putting the candle or maybe what do you call, oil lamp, reflecting that Ganasarappadittena Deepena Tamadangsina. That's what you are saying, right? In the Vihara. Ganasarappadittena Deepena Tama. Tama means T-A-M-A, ignorance. Darkness, actually, it's called darkness. Relate to the ignorance. So through the camphors, think about the oil lamp, camphor, and then the wick, and then the wax, right? All that. So as this, light is going to, what do you call, dispel the darkness of the place where it is lit. I assume that no shrine hall is dark. They have beautiful lights, right? Isn't it? Very beautiful lights for the Buddha, and people donate a lot of things for the Buddha. No problem. But the idea here is that, assuming that there is darkness, and I'm going to sponsor the Vihara's candle, maybe the oil lamp, thinking that may my darkness, ignorance, be what do you call, dispelled through this activity. Is it a metaphorical activity? It is too, I mean, because Vihara is always having light, right? Unless you light it in a very dark place. Even your house, I don't think your altar is dark. It's pretty well lit, very bright place. So it is also then a metaphorical activity. So I visualize in my mind. There's no darkness here in front of my Buddha statue, in front of my altar. I make it in myself, like the sila, or what you call, smell of a virtuous person. No fragrance like that. It is the fragrance of that public acceptance, being a good person. Then joss sticks. Why joss sticks? Not enough. Is candle not enough? Why you light joss sticks for what? Is it not enough? The very idea is fragrance, right? Does the Buddha need your fragrance that you buy, those fragrance boxes from those shops? Sometimes people put a lot of joss sticks on. Even the other people can't even stay there. They get some allergies of, smell. So then what's the idea here? The idea here is that we know the Buddha's fragrance is very metaphorical. You can't even think about it. That means the acceptance, universal acceptance. But we do what we can do. Depending on our affordability, we go and buy a packet of joss sticks, incense, and then we put it. We place it in that sandy bowl, thinking that may this fragrance make the Buddha more fragrant. How to look at it? Wow. So what is the purpose of placing joss sticks in front of a Buddha statue? Sugandhikaya vadanam ananta gunagandhim. Right? The purpose is that I am placing joss sticks in front of the Buddha statue because I know Buddha is more fragrant than the joss sticks. So I understand. I have to separate it out. He is more fragrant. Why he is more fragrant? Because he has this fragrance, virtuous fragrance. So having understood that he has that virtuous fragrance, I just, in my own little way, I just want to make him a little bit fragrant. I know that is not a good effort, but at least this is what I can do. So this is the approach of placing justice. So idea here is that the physical fragrance is there. It is not depreciated. it is still valuable for somebody to do it. But Buddhism talks about the fragrance of virtues. What virtues are they? May I know what virtues are they? Can you become that kind of person too? Forget about the Buddha, Arahants, and all these noble individuals. Can you become that kind of a fragrant individual? Yes, you can. You keep to your 5 precepts, and then you follow the Noble Eightfold Path. Then you are making that happen. Right? Okay. And then, today we are learning something interesting. Now, the understanding is that normal fragrance does not go up. It normally goes with the wind. Only the fragrance, the metaphorical fragrance of the virtuous people go up, and that, what do you call, upgoing, maybe what do you call, the particular fragrance of noble individuals, even transcend Deva's fragrance. That's pretty interesting. Do Devas have fragrance? Have you learned about Devas body? What kind of a body do Devas possess of? Is it a subtle body? Is it a very coarse body? What is the nature of the Devas body? It depends, because Devas are characterized in two places. One earth gods, what you call Bhumma Deva, while the other group is Bhumma Antalikke Deva. How do I tell you these things? How do I name them? Bhumma Deva, Antalikke Deva. Where did I call them? Ratana Sutta. Yani de Bhutani Samagatani. Bhummani Vaya Niva Antalikke. This is the thing. So when you learn Ratana Sutta, you understand. Answers are there. Bhumma, earth gods. And then Antalikke, aerial devas, sky devas. And you have a earth god, right? You put in your house. What is his name? There's a name for him, right? But in Buddhism, they talk about many earth gods, not someone who is living on the ground. There are many earth gods. Actually, the floor is not the house ground. This whole world is the place for earthbound devas.
Bhante,
What is an example?
Bhante, sorry, disturb with the earthbound deva. Are they related to the mountain deva or hill deva?
Yeah, any deva who is living in this world, not in the sky. I mean, are they living? Have they localized their places with regard to mountains, waterfalls, houses, trees, anything else? They all are part of earth gods.
Oh, okay.
That's a very what you call larger version of earth gods in Buddhism.
Terrestrial and celestial.
Yeah. So now, what is the fragrance of a deva? Normally, devas are more fragrant than an individual, any human being. Why is it? They don't have a host body like us. They have 5 aggregates, but they don't eat host food, solid food like us. What do you think about it? What if that you are going to eat something very liquid from one day onwards, right? And the fragrance, whatever the smell that is coming out of the body. So devas eat very subtle food. Sometimes they are not even food. They are not eating for long because they can even survive. So it is said that their bodies are very subtle and they exude fragrance. And the story with regard to today's stanza tells us exactly what it is and how it looks like. And what about their death? How do they die? Do devas die? The only teaching in the world where devas die. In all other religions, devas never die. They are eternal. You die, they eternal. That's something interesting too. In Abrahamic religions, they never die. They are eternal, you die. You come back, they're still there. And then you are impermanent, they are permanent. Right? Anyways, we don't want to argue about anything. That's up to those religions. So, in Buddhism, devas die, giving us an impression devas also part of anicca. Then how do they die? What are the symptoms of prognostications, symptoms of their death, upcoming death? It is said that when they are going to die, they are sweating a lot. That is one reason. Their flower garlands are going to fade. Right? So the other devas know something's going to happen to one deva. They approach, they are saying, hello friend, we know you're going to die. So think about good karma. So other devas are going to help that deva. But the deva who is going to die is not happy. Why? Not because he's going to die or she's going to die, but because I'm losing the comforts I had in the deva world. Says Nandana garden, Sudamma house, right? So they don't want to leave. Not that they fear at death. They seem to be like humans, right? If you ask from people, I don't have fear to die, but my children, my family, my things, I'm not ready to die. But they always say, I want to attain Nibbana. It's very interesting, right? Wherever they go, they say, I want to attain Nibbana. But would you like to attain Nibbana tonight? No, not today, not tonight. Another day. Let me think about it. So, I mean, it might be the practical way people look at it. So, then devas are going to die. So, but anyways, devas have this fragrance. I think it's a very different topic. If you're going to talk about devas, we're not going to go to that level. We want to talk about the fragrance and the sila part. So, the story is what we have to discuss to understand the bigger meaning here. When the fragrance, the so-called reputation of someone's virtues, precepts, and the good discipline go to the deva world, devas are very concerned about that particular person in the human world. As such, the story is going around the monk called Arahant Sariputta. Is Arahant Sariputta a very prominent character in the Gautama Buddha's order? He was, right? And we understand he was the second to the Buddha, but he passed away before the Buddha. Like how Buddha's son passed away. Arahant Rahula passed away before the Buddha, right? He passed away before the Buddha. In the same way, Arahant Sariputta, Arahant Moggallana, almost all senior disciples had died before the Buddha, except Arahant Mahakashapa, who was the pioneering monk who took care of the Buddha Sasana after his passing away. So, Arahant Sariputta used to enter into the Nirodha Samapatti time to time. Now, there is a question. What is this Nirodha Samapatti? Nirodha Samapatti. Now, normally we understand Hindu ascetics who practice jhanas, right? What are they doing? If you've been to India, you may have seen some, ascetics. They practice very ascetic practices and they want to attain jhanas. Jhana means they want to attain certain mental states depending on their temporary suspension about. They suspend, they withhold, suspend certain mental hindrances for a certain time. So from today onwards, I don't like to pay my attention to sensual pleasures. No to hatred, no to laziness, no to remorse and restlessness, no to doubts. And then with a very strong, purpose of that practice, they are going to withhold, suspend those 5 hindrances. There are 5 hindrances. So depending on how they achieve the suspension about the 5 hindrances, they are tapping into attaining jhanas. And then what happened? There is the first jhana. If the first jhana is going to go well, and then the person is going to try to attain second jhana, and and then third, fourth jhana. So they are part of the Rupavachara jhanas. And then if the yogi wants to further, then the yogi will attain the fifth jhana, sixth jhana, seventh jhana, eighth jhana, and that's it. And then the yogi or yogini thinks that this is the highest samam bona of the yogi practice. Okay, so the idea here is that the Buddha says this jhana practice is not enough. So the Buddha says that when you practice breath meditation, anapanasati, you may enter into these jhanas depending on the situation. I mean, you can't evaluate yourself. Teacher has to involve. And then what happens? Many ascetics who went to jhanas, they expire because jhanas are, I mean, if you only stay onto the jhanas, that practice is such a temporary practice. So what the Buddha says is that when you attain jhanas, you have to use it to shift that jhana progress into what you call nibbanic perspective. If you are only staying with that jhanic perspective to concentrate yourself, the Buddha calls it as a miccha samadhi, wrong concentration, wrong mindfulness, wrong concentration. Who could say that there is a wrong concentration? Concentration is good, right? How can it become wrong? You may question about yourself. I mean, there are people who are not concentrating enough, right? And that is even worse than that. What about someone is concentrated, but the Buddha calls that as the wrong concentration. Miccha samadhi. Miccha samadhi means someone only practices meditation only to get a jhana and then end up with the jhana, not carrying the jhanic development onto the nibbanic aspect. What is the nibbanic aspect? Understanding my jhana is also anicca, dukkha, anatta, and then going towards the vipassana ideals, pursuing that path. That is what we call going beyond the jhanas. Now, there are 11 ways for someone to attain nibbana. I think you know that, right? There's only one way to attain nibbana. Have you tried? Have you ever thought that there's only one way to attain nibbana? So far? Everybody must do the same thing. We have to go to the same place. No. The sutta is Attaka Nagara Sutta Majjhima Nikaya. In this Attaka Nagara Sutta, we understand there are 11 ways to attain nibbana. Because different people are different. Not the same idea is going to work out for them. But behind the scene, yes, it is the Noble Eightfold Path. You can't avoid it. By practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, there's the certain approach that the person is following could be one of them, one of those 11. So when someone attains Nibbana, just like Arahant Sariputta, if the conditions are allowed for individuals like Arahant Sariputta, they want to take some time off from the normal routine. So what they do is that when they take more time, when they have more time, they want to attain the, they want to enter into the Nirodha Samapatti. What is Nirodha Samapatti? In Buddhism, we call it as the 9th jhana. In Hindu system, there are 8 jhanas: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Right? So the Buddha suggests there is a 9th jhana, call it Sanya Vedaita Nirodha. Perhaps I might send you some information here. Call it Nirodha Samapatti. Or Sanya Vedaita Nirodha. This means suspension of perceptions and feelings for a day, 2 days, 3 days, maybe for a week. How to suspend our perceptions and feelings? Can we suspend our feelings for a week? Yeah, we can. We can be callous. When people want us to be emotional, no, I am emotional from today for a week, that's not becoming into Nirodha Samapatti. This means when someone becomes an Arahant, just like Arahant Sariputta, or those kind of senior Arahants, they can, suspend their feelings and perceptions for a week. But they live. That means if you have come to that level, you can live without perceptions and feelings. But don't misunderstand, this is not being callous or cold. Right? There are people who you may have met who are not really understanding the pain of other people. That is a different context. Actually, they have a feeling. They don't want to give their feelings to you. They don't want to understand your feelings. But here, those noble individuals, including Arahant Sariputta, they can suspend their feelings and perceptions for a certain time. So the belief was that after a week of this suspension of feelings and perceptions, then after the week, they're coming back to the normal society. Suppose they were in a forest, in a private place, Sunyagara, they come back to the forest. They know the person who is going to give Pindapata, Dana, to this person who just exited from the Nirodha Samapatti will make a lot of good karma. That particular Arahant understands that. So the particular Arahant wants to go to a very poor person, not to a rich person. Because this good karma that I made, I want to give it to a very poor person who can't even make it, who can't even make the bare minimum food. Okay, now let me start the story. This is the place that you need to understand. Arahant Sariputta once entered into the Nirodha Samapatti. And after the finishing of the Nirodha Samapatti, now he wanted to go to the city. He was in Rajagaha. The Buddha was also living in the Verunaram at that time. And he wanted to go to the Rajagaha to give an opportunity to somebody who is very poor and give a dana to him and then want to make his life or her life more meritorious. Then what happened? 500 female devas of Sakka, the god Sakka, approached him. And then you might be perhaps wondering why they want to meet him. Devas understand they also want to die one day. They have to die. So they self-recognize and they told the Buddha, Arahant Sariputta, Bhante, we are 500 female devas under the god Sakka. We want to give you dana. Arahant Sariputta said no, because you already devas. Give this opportunity to someone who is going through a lot of pain. And then he did not let them further dana. So devas, they were not happy, but nothing to do. And they went to the Tavatinsa. And then the Devasakka asked them what happened. And they said, we went to Arahant Sariputta's way and we want to give Pindapata actually. Pindapata to him. He said, no, he cannot accommodate our Pindapata. And then we came. Okay. Then Devasakka devised a plan. What was his plan? He and his wife, Suja, Indrani, his wife, she's an Asura actually, Asura woman. They went to Rajagaha by impersonating a very old and poor couple. So they planned to impersonate somewhere on the way Arahant Sariputta was going for Pindapata. So Arahant Sariputta was going and then he saw a couple. The man was spinning out a thread. The lady was feeding a shuttle. And then it looks like very poor place. The house also like a ill-thatched house. okay, this might be the place I should give the opportunity. So he went in, and then the Suja welcome. Suja was impersonating a very old lady, and then receiving the bowl, and then gave the bowl to Sakka, who is impersonating as the old person. And then he, with divine powers, included certain horse food, because if I put a lot of rich food, Arahan Sariputta will recognize me. So they know. So they put very, what you call horse food, not very fine food, like how some people are eating in that part of the place. And then he filled the whole alms bowl, gave back to Arahan Sariputta, both of them. But the moment the both of them gave back the alms bowl to Arahan Sariputta saw the food is not very rich food from a very poor family. It's okay. But the smell is even going beyond Sakka's food. He can feel it. Why is this food very fragrant? Then he was thinking. Then he went into his own divine ears. He understood this is not this real couple. He asked, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm Sakka and this is my wife, and we really want to give dana to you, pindapata to you." Why you want to? I think you are deceiving your activities, your role here. Why you want to give dana? Because you have so many things. No, I am the poorest person in the whole universe. Interesting. Sakka tells him, "How come you are the poorest person? You are the Sakka." No, in the Tavatinsa, there are 3 devas. Their beauty is overpowering my beauty. They are under me, but their beauty is more beautiful than me. Their other comforts that they have received through their karmic forces are better than me. So I feel even I am the Sakka, I am lower than those 3 devas in the Tavatins. Have you ever heard that there are other devas in the Sakka's place who are better than Sakka? Now Sakka is saying there are 3 devas in the Tavatins who are better than him. So I feel I'm not the most privileged person in the Tavatins because I see those 3 people. Is this a normal phenomenon to us in our world? There are some people who are rich but still not happy because there is somebody who is outsmarting them in their rich, cohort. There's someone who is very educated, with someone who is pretty and beautiful, but still there is someone who is giving some vibes that perhaps I might be better than you or him or her. Right? So then, Arahan Sariputta told him, "Today you took the chance of a very poor person. It's not nice, and you should have not done it, because I want to give it to someone who really deserves that." And then Sakka said, "This is my reason. I am the poorest person." And then Sakka was not feeling good. And then he asked, "Have I not done any good karma here?" He said, "You did a good karma, but next time don't impersonate. Right? And give it to a person who really deserves this pindapata dana." And then he left. And when he left with his wife, he was saying, "Aho danang paramang danang kassape supatittitam." Right? So that means he was very happy. Say, for instance, I think there was a small mistake here. Arahan Sariputta is not the version. Arahan Kassapa. Sorry, Arahan Kassapa. Arahan Kassapa was the story. So Aho danam paraman dana kassapi supatittitam. So Arahan Kassapa, I have been able to give dana to Arahan Kassapa, and this is the best dana I have been able to give in my life. She was very happy. So that means Arahan Mahakassapa's virtue has even gone beyond the Deva worlds. So Devas even could not help not coming and helping him. Now you might wonder, why do Devas want to give dana to Arahan Mahakasyapa? There are many stories. Remember, there was a story about one female Deva called Laja, L-A-J-A. Arahan Mahakasyapa noticed that his temple from one particular day onwards was swept in a very nice way. So he was wondering, who's doing this? So one day he found out somebody, and this was a female Deva called Laja, L-A-J-A, Laja. And then he asked, why are you sweeping my compound, the vihara? Then she said, I was a Deva. I was able to become a Deva because I came to the vihara. I swept the floor. Now this is interesting. Going to the vihara temple and then sweeping the floor is a very good idea, even to become a Deva one day. Right? So then why are you coming back? I'm so happy because just because I'm a Deva, I know I'm going to die. I want to do more good karma. That's why I'm coming to the vihara, and I want to sweep because I feel good about it. So Arahan Mahakasyapa's his virtues were really accepted by many Devas. So that means the fragrance of Devas go beyond. Devas approach Devas' fragrance. So there are a couple things to learn from this stanza, not even the fragrance, the metaphorical fragrance of virtuous people. What about the dana? Because dana is the activity that they all want to do. And also we have to discuss, why do arahants want to tap into Nirodha Samapatti? There are two things to discuss. Why do arahants want? You might think that maybe they want to help out devotees, those underprivileged devotees. It's not just the reason about it, actually. There is another reason. When someone attains Nibbana and then become an arahant, that arahant, if that arahant is very, we call some arahants who have certain powers, certain strengths. Those arahants wanted to check what happiness they will get after they really pass away. Because let's say someone attains Nibbana today, but from that day until the death of that person, still that arahant has to go through body pain, mental pain, sicknesses, and all that, right? Just like Arahan Mahakasyapa, he got sick. Just like Arahan Mahamoggallana. He not only got sick, he was even beaten to death by thieves. Just like the Buddha, just like other major arahants. So that means when someone attains Nibbana, still the person is subject to the changes of the five aggregates. So then some arahants wanted to check what could be the real happiness of being an arahant. So what they want to do, they want to do the Nirodha Samapatti. They want to check what will happen to them when they suspend their perceptions and then feelings for certain days. Why? Then they understand this will be the happiness of Nibbana when they pass away. That's why they are doing it. So that is Nirodha Samapatti. That is what Arahan Mahakasyapa did here. Then what about dana activity? Giving dana to someone who has just exited from the Nirodha Samapatti. Do people have this practice in today's world? Have you seen some monks going for some meditation for 3, 4, 6 months? In some countries, in Thailand sometimes, right? They go for meditation for 6, 7 months. When the monk is coming back, people want to offer dana and all that, right? So this practice is still there. We don't know whether they enter this Samapatti or not. But this practice is still available in some form, right? So that means, on the other hand, while giving dana is a normal practice, but giving dana when someone is more virtuous can bring about certain different results. So people know that. Sometimes people don't know it. Now, say for instance, Arahan Mahakassapa, whether Arahan Mahakassapa went to Nirosamapatti or not was not noticed to normal people, right? They are in their places. So the Arahan Mahakassapa wanted to give it to somebody, even people don't understand it. So what we need to understand is that being a virtuous person for receiving dana is also an interesting thing that we learn here. That means recipients should be better being into the sila, right? That's how we learn about it. So once again, the stanza's overall meaning is going beyond the fragrance. As you can see here, Vati Devesu Uttamo. Okay. What about certain devas? I mean, what is the working of certain other devas? Are all devas are good devas, wholesome devas? Are some devas are bringing certain other problems? Not all devas are equally wholesome and also fragrant. I think we discussed the other day about yakas, right? Yakas are not many yakas are good devas, right? Because yakas are in the mandate of King Vesavana, and most yakas want to engage in activities to kill, steal, sexually misbehave, lie, and they want to even get intoxicated. So that means this idea is not a what you call blanket understanding about, I mean, devas. So Tavatinsa devas, Tusita devas, they are the audience here. I mean, they are definitely fragrant, and they are really watching on people's virtues. What are the other examples where devas were really watching on very moral, virtuous people? There are many, right? There are many places where devas are looking at. Now, say for instance, on one hand, devas are watching, normal devas are watching how to help someone. Mara is also watching people to bring people into a lot of problems too. Because Mara is also a deva, right? Vasavatti Mara. So that means we have to understand both these perspectives. Okay, I think we can discuss more. If you have any questions about this at this point, you can ask. Otherwise, we will continue with the rest of the perspectives.
Bhante,
Yes.
may I
Chandima?
have the name of the sutta again, the 11 ways to attain Nibbana? That one?
Yeah, that's called Attaka Nagara Sutta.
Thank you very much.
Attaka Nagara Sutta is, I think, M52. Yeah, that's the same sutta. Attaka Nagara Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 52. If not, we will continue with our discussion about more insights about Sila. Let's talk about Sila a little bit more. The other day we discussed Sila and Sikha, right? Sila means the general virtue, and Sikha means precept. So how important is Sila actually? Because we never hear that when somebody enters Samadhi, there's a fragrance. We never hear when someone enters wisdom, there's a fragrance. But Sila. So how important is the Sila practice? Is Sila a bunch of precepts? Or is Sila something more than precepts? What do you think? Sila is something more than precepts. Because finally, the akusala is happening not that you not engage in that activity. It's the break of your, what do you call, kusala perspectives. I mean, breaking the precepts through your thoughts. Now, say for instance, someone is avoiding killing all the time, but in his or her mind, the person may be destroying, killing many people. We call ill will. Ill will means vyapada. So that means precepts are just a certain external activity that we all can do. But the real kusala, akusala activities are created through the level of our thoughts. So that's why Sila can give us a certain discipline, but the real kusala akusala will happen through our mental level, through the mental purifications. Now, say for instance, someone is not stealing, it's better than stealing. But what about the person carries the stealing mind? So what does that person need at that point? That person needs some level of samadhi to lower that idea. I'm not stealing, but I still have the stealing thoughts. So how to protect myself from being a part of the akusala? Then I have to practice some kind of mindfulness so that my sila practice is more purified. Sila will help me to become a better person as a discipline. But I need samadhi. So we should never end up in samadhi, but we should keep our sila all the time. Sila and sikha. Right? So then external, what you call, avoidance of certain activities is not enough. So we have to be careful about the thoughts. The thoughts are the things that really bring us to akusala. It's not just the physical action. Because through physical action, people can still make akusala in a way from outside, but the person might not have given certain thoughts about it. So sila is important to understand, but when you are practicing sila, you may think that I have to be a perfectionist with regard to sila. I mean, even in daily life, we are going through a lot of challenges, right, from morning to evening. And with regard to not killing, not stealing, and all that. So by not becoming a perfectionist about your sila, you are trying to see, am I really taking care of my thoughts so that my sila can really work well? So without that understanding, awareness, our physical activities are not going to really work. Right? That's something very important to think about. Remember the story of the monk who has been having a very impeccable sila. One day he made a small mistake, and then the mistake was breaking a certain branch of a tree that was very unintentional. And then he was thinking about it. I had a very good sila, but this happened to me, and I did it, even unintentionally. So he passed away with this thought. It is said that he was living near a certain river, and he became a snake in that area. Why? When someone dies with hatred, it can lead into that kind of animal life, because you are conflicting with your state of mind. You are conflicting with your practice. That means if there were small mistakes, try to do more good karma and purify yourself. That is the way. Otherwise, if you keep thinking, I did it, it happened, I should have not done. Yes, you should have done, but not giving a lot of thoughts about I should have not done. Rather than that, you can think about how to better yourself. So sila is not something that you end up. You need to bring it to the samadhi. Then only you can understand how to balance out your sila practice as well. Otherwise, you will be remorseful about it. You will have a lot of kukucha, right? Kukucha can be a problem. Okay, so sila is as such. Then, if you look at lay person's life, your life, Buddha is also asking you to think about your ethical living, not even your activities, not even your thoughts, but also your ethical living. When you are going to give a dana, the Buddha says that the money should always come from ethical means, because it matters. Okay? It's not like someone steals somebody's money or maybe unethically earn and then give good things. That's why he says, Dhammena laddam supasanachina. Your mind may be good, but the things were earned through unrighteous ways. So that means sila is not just avoiding certain things, but also you have to be careful about the source of money that you are using for the dana activity. So that is how you are creating the sila, and that kind of a sila is what can take you to this kind of a fragrance, metaphorical fragrance of being such a person. So I think we have to look at all those activities. Okay, any more questions about today? The stanza, about the ideas about sila and all that?
Bhante,
Yes.
just want to clarify, just want to make sure that my understanding is correct. Just now you mentioned we need to bring our sila to samadhi. Do you mean that when we have sila, then we will be able to practice meditation better because you have no remorse or guilt? Then you would be able to practice meditation in that way. Then we can cultivate and develop our mind. Is that what you mean?
Yes, exactly. That kind of a meditation really worked well. Now, say for instance, someone forgets about sila practice and then directly go to the meditation. That might not really work out. I mean, in terms of performance, in terms of the result. So, yeah, not even the meditation, but also what you call working towards the purification in terms of your thoughts. I mean, in Buddhist meditation, we not only say sit and meditate, right? You may sit for certain meditations such as breath meditation, but other meditations, they are not sitting meditations. Walk and understanding I walk is a meditation. And then sit by knowing that I sit is a meditation. Stand and thinking that I'm standing is meditation. So that means that awareness is not possible without some amount of sila. So the sila does not mean that you have to have a perfect conduct. Rather than you know that you are eligible to go to your mental level. Now, say for instance, today morning someone lied to somebody, someone stole someone's things, someone had a lot of destroying thoughts, but still never taken any precepts to purify oneself. So that the person is going to meditate in the evening. That might be a little impossible. I mean the performance wise. By the end of the day, that meditation might not work. So that's why it's very important to take precepts and keep the precepts, right? And if somebody broke, to retake the precepts. Let's say now one or two precepts were broken, then don't worry about it until you take the precepts again. Then what you are supposed to do? At least you have to think, I have some other precepts I'm still keeping. Right? Ideally, you want to keep all that. If not, at least happy I haven't broken them. So that will help you. So I can do the meditation because I'm pure at this point. I have some sila to go to the meditation. So yes, exactly. meditation with sila is more efficient, more effective.
Thank you, Bhante.
That's why retreats, all that start with giving precepts, right? That's the reason. So, I mean, at the beginning of the retreat, they are giving precepts just to make sure everybody is okay. Yeah. And if you do a meditation every day, why don't you take precepts by yourself? Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapada Samadhiyami Adinadana, and then you go to your meditation. Not that you just wake up and then go to the bed and may I be well happy. I want to watch my breath. I think better to take precepts and then to do it so you are happy. Either either they have some issues or not. Okay. There was a question here. It's about dana. I offered eggs for dana, and another person also brought eggs. After weeks, she still approached me and commented, I should inform the leader what I'm bringing. In actual dana offerings, there should be no restrictions. What can we tell this kind of dana don't? This is, I mean, on the surface level, we understand somebody brought and somebody wants to do it in his or her own way, right? So this is something out of that. And so I think it's pretty clear. The person wants to take over the whole dana activity when somebody is going to contribute. So my understanding is you don't try to go and become a part of that conflict, right? So just understand the situations of these local temples, and then perhaps you may go join certain places, because sometimes we cannot change people's mind, right? So we don't want to argue with these people, because we go to the temple to make good karma, right? We don't want to clash with people over there. So one thing is that you can think about, let's say, perhaps you didn't know, and you are saying that you should inform the leader. I don't know if there's a leader, dana leader. It's a new concept to me, actually. First time I heard. There's a dana leader, I mean, leader for dana. So we need some conversation about it. Anyway, so my suggestion is these different temples, they have different dana culture inside, donor culture. So please understand that. I mean, by understanding those cultures, just work with them. If you really want to go to that place, that's one thing. Second is that I think you can go and offer dana in other places too. So don't worry about it. So many places to go and offer dana. Right? Okay. The question that I got again is, are the jhana levels of meditation part of Theravada Buddhism, Hindu, adapted by Buddhism? Yes, it's coming from Hinduism, and Buddhism, early Buddhism, they adapted, revised in their own way. And they were saying that the purpose of jhana is not to have the bliss, but to shift the focus of jhana onto the Nibbana, right? So they modified it. Buddhism loaned the jhana from Hinduism. They have borrowed a lot. They have borrowed a lot of things from Hinduism. One is jhana, and then nirvana is Hindu too. It's not Buddhist. Nirvana is Nibbana. And other things, reincarnation. Buddhism borrowed and said this is not reincarnation. This is called rebirth. The only branch of Buddhism that talks about reincarnation is Vajrayana, Tibet Buddhism. Tibet Buddhism, lamas, they thoroughly believe that lamas are going to be reincarnated in another form. But in what you call early Buddhism, we believe there's no reincarnation like Vishnu or that kind of reincarnation. It has only rebirth, because if you believe impermanence, change, and you can't have any trust about reincarnation, same person will come back again. We don't have a same person. Person dies, being changed and born with changes. So how to say you are incarnate? You are reincarnate. You are reborn. We call punabhava, re-becoming. So in this way, jhana is one of the lone things, but Buddha added a very interesting layer. Buddha said, Hindu people practice jhana just to be happy, but that happiness can expire anytime. Buddha said, yes, tap into the jhana. Right away, think about, I have to shift my jhana into nibbana. Where is the example? Attakanagara Sutta. Go check that. In the Attakanagara Sutta, Buddha says, even when you attain first jhana, through that first jhana, you can attain nibbana. How is it possible? When someone even attains first jhana, think about, my first jhana is conditioned and then volitional. That means condition means it is made up of sankhara, and then volitional, it is made up of chetana. So this is anicca. If anything is under chetana, sankhara, this is anicca. But those Hindu people never bring this to anicca and chetana. They say, no, it's a permanent bliss. And one day they expire from that. So that's why not even first jhana, second jhana, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seven, eight jhanas, but also metta, karuna, mudita, upekka alone, even metta alone can help someone to attain nibbana. Even by practicing metta meditation alone can someone attain nibbana. Even by practicing mudita meditation alone can someone attain nibbana. Karuna alone can attain nibbana. That means there are so many avenues. Don't worry. 11 avenues. So where you should worry, you have to understand what works with you, what will work for you. That is your worry, I think. Not that there are no, there is only one avenue, only samatha vipassana. Samatha vipassana are not actually early Buddhist ideas. They were given by later traditions, like Burmese tradition. In early Buddhism, we talk about satipatthanas. And when we learn satipatthanas in the Majjhima Nikaya, and this sutta also in Majjhima Nikaya, Buddha says there are 11 ways. When you practice metta, it is a part of satipatthana in a way. Jhana also part of satipatthana too. But there are 11 ways. The worry is how to find out what will work for me. You need a teacher. Teacher has to assess you. You have to assess yourself. Then there is the path. Okay, maybe we can take one more question to wrap this up today, if you have. Okay. Understand that the Buddha way of getting to the jhanas is natural, and when there are no 5 hindrances compared to the Hindu jhanas, which is a suppression by strong, forceful concentration. Well, jhanas, I mean, to the extent someone attains jhana, it is pretty same like Hindu. I mean, it is said that viviccheva kusale, viviccha kame. It is the same. The difference comes in at the place you attain jhana, and then what you're going to do after that. That is the place Hindus become nothing. They don't want to do anything. They just want to feel happy about it. But Buddhists, they are supposed to shift into the anicca and chetana perspectives according to the Attakanagas. That is the difference. But the basic level up until that level, pretty same, like Hindu and Buddhist. I think with that, we are going to transfer all the good karmas now. So today, once again, I want to recap what we've been doing today. We have been learning about the fragrance, the metaphorical fragrance of virtuous people. In this case, Arahan Mahakassapa. Even that can be similar to you if you are a good person, if you keep your 5 precepts, Noble Eightfold Path, then you are creating a very good impression among the Deva, and Deva want to help you. They want to come at you. It might be very invisible. Your what you call effect is affecting them to an extent that they want to support you. Right? So that is even going beyond the heavens. But the physical fragrance is only going around, settling around a very limited place. So let's be virtuous. If we are virtuous, let's continue to become virtuous. This is the way what we're going to understand. With that, let's think about may all the good karmas we'll be making today by learning about this stanza, about Sila, be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hontu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hontu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hontu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Devanaga Mahitika. We were talking about them a lot today. May Devanaga Mahitika receive all these good karmas and may they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. May they finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu. Ittavataj amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabedeva anumodantu sabbasang bhakti siddhya. Ittavataj amhehi sambatang punya sampadang Sabe bhuta anumodantu sabbasang bhakti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang Sabe sattha anumodantu sabbasang bhakti siddhya. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahidvika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanang. Akasattha cha bhummattha Devanaga Mahidvika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkang Tudesanang Akasattha Chibummattha Devanaga Mahidvika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkang Tumang Parang Chirang Rakkang Tutwang Sadati. We're going to make our wish. Our wish is a Dhamma wish. May we be able to be in the company of Kalyana Mitras till we attain Nibbana. At the same time, let's become Kalyana Mitras to as many people as we can. May this noble friendship always continue all the time till we attain Nibbana. Thinking thus, let's make the wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu hotu yavanibbana pattaya. Finally, let's reflect upon all the good karmas we've been making by learning this Dhammapada stanza. May all the good karmas be supportive and help all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana siddhissa nichang vaddha pachāyino chattaro dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balam ayurarogya sampatti Sagga sampatti me vacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samichatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, with those blessings, wishing you a pleasant evening till we see next Thursday at the same time.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante. Thank you,
Sadhu,
Bhante.
sadhu, Bhante.
Bhante. Good night, everybody.
Thank you,
Okay.
Bhante. Sadhu,
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 sadhu.
sadhu. Good night and
Good
take
night,
care,
everyone.
everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Take care.